Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm at SMTAI in Chicago, and I'm joined by Neil on the AkroMetrix booth. Neil, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. Your products are involved in the testing of warpage and with related to thermal patterns. Tell me a bit about the products, the kind of demand you have for them, and what's new in that world.
Right, so we've been doing, at temperature warpage for on 20 years now. And we continue to develop new products as we get different demands from our customer base. In terms of latest, we've been focused a lot on heating, on actual temperature uniformity.
Right.
Current systems use IR radiative heating to heat products, which is great for when you're in one location, but it has some disadvantages in terms of temperature uniformity and replicating the actual production scenario. So the latest product actually is called the CRE, which stands for Convective Reflow Emulation.
Okay.
And actually uses convection.
Snappy name.
Yeah. Uses convection to heat products. Very strong top-bottom temperature uniformity, lateral uniformity, and heating rates as well. So you can get high throughput with that.
Okay. And you're looking to chart the relationship between warpage and temperature change, and then kind of approve or disapprove vendors' products to a certain criteria, I guess.
Sure, yeah. I mean, the point along a profile where the warpage is high or changing is certainly critical and allows us to identify specific types of defects. So when that warpage occurs will really point us towards a head and pillow, an open, a bridge, things like that our customers might be seeing and looking for, in their defect, in their failure analysis, and their quality assurance, things like that.
And would they then be able to provide data back to the vendor to improve that service, or would it just be a question of crossing that off the AVL list?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of the data back is in the form of numbers and charts and graphs. So once we have basically a cloud of points of a surface, there's a lot of ways we can then interpret what that is, in terms of gauge information and dual surface analysis. We can look both, not just at one surface at a time, but two, and do gap analysis between, say, a board and a component.
Okay, and we're seeing devices getting smaller and smaller, substrates getting thinner and thinner. Does that give you more challenges? Does that make what you're doing even more important, more valuable to the customer?
Yeah, I think it drives the requirements tighter, which gets more and more people looking at warpage as critical to good surface mount attachment. So thinner, and especially your smaller solder balls, as they're going to smaller and smaller pitch, are continuing to drive the business and requiring basically high resolution on our side. To make sure that what we produce in terms of surface warpage is true to production. Yeah,
and I guess this is mainly for high volume consumer products, fast moving consumer products, smartphones, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the biggest, that is the biggest driver, certainly. We have a lot of these systems at customers making very large volume, often lined up multiple in a row, running all day, every day. That's certainly a side. It also has a fair market and more of a failure analysis tool or an R&D tool, a new product introduction. For customers who aren't doing quite that quantities.
Yeah, and it's a question then of actually making sure bad product doesn't get onto the line, so you can keep that line humming, keep those huge numbers going through. A lot of that's in Asia. Here in the Americas, is it mostly labs, mostly R&D facilities that are using your equipment?
It is, but I think a lot of the customers are in East Asia are taking some direction from some of the OEMs back here. Some of our customers definitely who may have a system here in the U.S. are also talking to 7 or 8 or 10 units that are being run in East Asia and controlling that process, exchanging data back and forth, lot sampling, controlling, drift testing, things like that to make sure that the product stays where it needs to in terms of warpage.
Yeah, and you're able to support that here from the US, or do you have kind of a global support agencies representation?
Yeah, we have a very strong international representation chain. We have a number of U.S. reps. We have South Korea and Japan and China and Southeast Asia and Europe and reps all over that we've been working with for a long time. We even have some actual AkroMetrix representation and employee in Southeast Asia. So it's quite a web that gets supported really through the U.S. and Atlanta where we're based.
And then being out with the customers means they're spotting the next trend, they're telling you what the next demand is, helping drive your R&D internally, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, all of our development really comes from customer feedback.
Yeah.
I mean, we know tons of things that we'd love to do and want to do with the systems, and where we spend that man hours and things like that really comes from industry demand, which again was why the CRE came out. That was the biggest demand that we had from our global customer base, and that's where we focused our efforts lately.
Yeah, and they're queued the way they want them to be queued. Fantastic. Well, Neil, thanks for your time. Good to talk to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.